Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Code Escuela. And in this episode we are going to take a look at Blazor Layouts. Blazor Layout is a one way of organizing your application into distinct sections. It's also one way of applying certain styles and designs or themes in one single place without spreading it all over your pages. And so let's see what we can or how we can apply layouts in our application. I already have here an existing or already prepared a project here. This project comes from the default Blazor template application. And with this one, first thing you'll notice is that layouts are applied by default under the routes razor page. Okay, so this is one way of applying a layout by default throughout your entire application. And so to set that, here we have our routes.razor and then we have this route view component, and it lets you specify the default layout that you can use for your application. And this one already comes with the main layout. And so with this main layout, it has the basic form of having that sidebar and then the menus, navigation menus on the left side, and then your contents on the center of it. So if we quickly run this one, you should be able to know that it is quite a familiar layout, the default layout for any Blazor application that comes from the Blazor template. Okay, so how you have your navigation on the left side and then your actual uh, Razor page content in the middle of it. Okay, and so that's one way of applying layout. Another way of applying layout is by per page component, okay? Or per individual component. So let's look at this weather.razor page, and this is applying a different layout apart from the default layout that it's been set in on the entire application, which is using the main layout.razor. Okay, now one way to set a layout for a specific page is using this directive. You have to use at layout and then specify the name of the layout that you are using. In this case, it's the alpha layout. So what does this alpha layout look like? So I've added this one as another razor page, and if you look at this layout, it's very quite simple. And then I've just added a border for it to be distinguished from other layouts that we have in this application. But one thing to note is that uh, to make your layout be applied as a layout, you also have to set this layout that it should inherit from layout component base. And so we've added this line here at inherits layout component base. So this one way of setting up your razor page as a layout. Okay, and then now you can set or place your uh, razor page content in whatever section of your layout. In this case, it would be this body that it will be injected to. Okay, and so that's how we set the layout for this weather razor page. Okay, so if we navigate to the weather page, you'll see that the alpha layout has taken over, and then it's very quite primitive as of the moment, just to show you that yeah, it uses a different layout for this one, which is the alpha layout. Now another thing that you can apply layout to is you can apply it to a set of pages that would be under specific folder, which means that you can set the layout once and then the rest of the pages under that folder will just use that layout. So let's go back to our solution explorer here, and then you might have noticed that I've added a suppliers folder, and underneath it is we have the index razor page as an example. And then the one way or another way of setting your layout is adding an imports.razor page, I mean component, and then setting its layout in this way at layout, and then the name of the layout. Then that should set the layout for the rest of the pages within this suppliers folder. Okay, now our index page is you don't need to set that here anymore. Okay, in this case, yeah, you can just comment it out or remove this one, then it should grab or be part of the Bravo layout that we have set in imports.razor page. Okay, so let's navigate to our suppliers page. And as you can see, the suppliers page has taken the Bravo layout. Okay, I've added a border for the suppliers page here so that we can distinguish it from the other sections of the application. Okay, and so now that is one way of setting your layout. Next is I've also added several layouts here. We have the Bravo layout and then the Charlie layout. Again, these layouts would have to inherit from layout component base for it to be taken as a layout. Next thing that you can do with that is that you can have nested layouts wherein you can have layout within a layout within layout, and then yeah, whatever however deep you want to have your layouts uh, to be. Okay, so here we have our nested layouts that razor page, and as you can see, I've applied the Charlie layout here, which is this one, and in turn this Charlie layout is contained within our Bravo layout. Okay, again, I've added some borders for each of these layout sections so that we can distinguish it. And if we navigate to the nested layouts page, we should be able to see that, yeah, you've taken a nested layout approach for this one. So our nested layout, the page itself, is contained within the Charlie layout, which in turn is contained within the Bravo layout. Okay, so now that way, depending on the design or the theme of your application, you can segment or divide your application into distinct sections. Okay, wherein maybe you want to identify this part of your application as admin or just for guest or for user or for whatever purpose that you have, or as a design of your application. Okay, and so that is an easy way to use layouts within Blazor. And so I hope you've learned something from this one. And yeah, I think that wraps up everything about layouts. And yeah, I hope to see you soon later in our future episodes. And yeah, see you soon and have a great day, everyone. Thank you and keep on learning.